Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. Well, in this lesson, I just wanted to go over real quick a bunch of the modifications that I've done to my Duesenberg Fairytale. I play this LapSteel all the time and I love it. It's an awesome design LapSteel and it plays and sounds great. But there's certain things that's either worn out or I wanted to upgrade on it. So let's go over that. So the first thing is those foam strips that's on the back of that. Those inevitably wear out, it seems like, when you're playing it a lot. And so what I did is I took them all the way off and I put this stuff called cat tongue grip tape on the back of here, and it's removable, so you can peel it off. And here's a close up of it. So it should easily come off, but be careful. I don't want to be responsible for you ruining your finish, but yeah. So I put that on there, and that seems to work real nice. It's real durable, and it's not like the foam padding, where it tears off and it keeps it from sliding on your legs. The other thing is I used that same cat tongue grip here under my benders, right where you push the bender down here and it meets the metal part. That used to be felt, and that ended up wearing out to where you would hear this metal on metal click every time I'd push the bender down. So I took it apart and peeled off all that stuff and used some Goo Gone, I think, and also on the back here to get off any of the residual sticky stuff. I used Goo Gone and then put that. This is clear cat tongue grip, so it comes in black and clear. So I just lost, I don't know where my black stuff is, so I just had some clear laying around. So I put that there, and as you can see here, I've talked about this in lots of my lessons. This is that foam. They call it fingerboard grip tape, or fingerboard grip tape. It's thin foam that has an adhesive backing to it, and I just wrap the whole thing around it and then just cut the tip to size, and then that way it sticks on there real good and it's nice and clean. You can see that there. See how I wrap the whole thing around? And that's awesome for it. It just feels so comfortable, and my hand's not slipping on the benders anymore. So that's a really useful thing. So I've got some here, and also I will put the links to all this stuff up in the description of the video. So under the video there's a description. So that's what that looks like. You get a package of, I don't know, however many, and that stuff's really cool. The other thing is this felt under the nut, right? The movable nut. That ended up wearing out, and the other thing is it was always too short. Like my thick low string was always just barely under the felt. So what I ended up doing was I got a roll of felt with an adhesive backing off Amazon, and now I've got a ton of felt for lots of different things. So I just cut off a little bit of that, and that works great, and I make it longer so that it definitely fits the low string, isn't slipping off the felt. So there's that. The other thing you might notice is I was having some trouble when I'd get up in the higher frets kind of figuring out where I was at, right? So what I did is I used, let me see. Now this, I don't know if this might mess up my finish, I don't know. But be careful if you use this stuff. I use this whiteout pin, right? And I just kind of dabbed a little bit on there on the 12th fret and the 15th. So basically where my fret markers are, but I have 2 dots on my 12th fret, so that, because I was getting confused, the 12th looks like all the other frets. So that definitely really helps me kind of know where I'm at, and I'll look for those 2 dots there. And it's kind of unobtrusive, Let's see, what else have I done with this thing? Oh yeah, the pickups. So I'm not a huge fan of the Duesenberg pickups. I love the LapSteel, but I felt like the pickups didn't have the sound that I particularly liked. I wanted this thing to sound more like a Les Paul, something that you'd hear Dwayne Allman playing, right? Some sort of Les Paul. So I wanted some sort of old sounding PAF style pickups. PAF or the old Gibson PAF standing for patent applied for. And so what I put in this, or had somebody change them out, are these Seymour Duncan antiquity pickups. And as you can tell, they kind of have that old look to them. You know, the screws are kind of older looking, but whatever, that's just looks. But it definitely has that old fat PAF humbucker sound that I really liked. So I love the way the neck pickup sounds, and the bridge pickup sounds really good. The other thing is I had them change out the tone pot. The Duesenberg tone pot only turns like a really short amount, and I wanted a longer throw to the tone, so I had them change out the tone pot so that now it can turn all the way. So a couple other things that I might change in the future. First of all, I think something's messed up with the switch, so it needs some repairs. But I would put a treble bleed, I think it's a treble bleed circuit, on my volume pot, so that when I turn my volume down, it doesn't decrease the tone on there. So that's one thing that I'm going to probably change out in the future, is have them put that in there and fix a few things that's it's a bit off. Anything else I've changed on this thing? I think that's it. But yeah, but that makes it a lot easier to play. The foam's not going everywhere. I'm definitely way more happy with the tone, with the old humbuckers in there. The benders feel a lot more comfortable with the foam on there. Right, it's a lot more durable now, where I don't have the felt. I got something more durable under the benders. And talking about the benders too, I wanted to kind of mention this. I've had some issues with this particular screw, and I don't know if it's there's another screw that's hollow that this screw screws into, right? This curved one is hollow, and you screw that one into it, and this is actually a screw in itself, and that's what tightens that down. And this has gotten stripped. So from lots of research, I realized that all this is proprietary. It's really hard to find a hollow screw online. So they really make you buy the full arm when one little part, a screw or something. I guess, maybe I could call them and try to get certain parts for that, that can work. But just a little insight into that. And the other thing is I figured out how, at least I think I have, how if you want to tighten these arms down, it's not the nut there that you tighten so much, right? What it is you take this screw out, the top screw, and then there's a hex key or Allen wrench, this screw here that's hollow inside, and you tighten that down, and then that tightens the arm down, and then you put the screw back in. So just some things that I've found over time. The other thing is I get questions all the time about strings breaking with the Duesenberg. And what I tell people is I don't do the thing that people do, where some people will put extra ball ends on the ends of their strings to make the string come out further. I've never really tried that. What I found works really good for me is I just on the second and the third string, right? Just on those two strings, I use D'Addario NYXL strings, and I buy a whole bunch. Here, I'll show you. So I buy just those individual second and third strings, just a ton. And you want to make sure your third string, right, is a wound string. So this would be the third string. Let me see if I can show you that. So that's the third string, .026 nickel wound NY. And I get that from Strings by Mail, and I just buy a ton of these. It looks like this. Here's the brand. Diodario NYXL. And then for the second string, looks like this. So high carbon steel. So the second string then is solid, 0.018 high carbon steel single. So basically these are higher quality, at least from what I understand, higher quality steel on just those strings. And I don't worry with the other strings because they're, you know, you're not doing a lot of bending. So I just get the cheaper strings for that. And they seem to work just as well. I do use for the Duesenbergs, I'm not moving to open G. I use a really thick gauge 6-string. I use a 60. Here, show you this. This is the one that I use for my 6-string because I want it to be really thick, and I buy a bunch of singles of those. But yeah, and I've got my own kind of set, the customer set on Strings by Mail. But that set, I need to make another one because that set has a 59 for the 6-string, and I really want the thicker 60 on there. But so I might do that in the future, make a custom set. So yeah, that's all the mods and strings and everything that I use for this Duesenberg. I thought it might answer some questions, and cool. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.